What up, everybody? In the book The Prince by Machiavelli, he wrote that it's best to be both loved and feared. But if a leader cannot be both, then it would be better to be feared rather than loved. And this is the situation we are currently seeing played out on The Chi Season 6 with Emmett and Douda. Emmett again shows why his father said he was not built for the street life after pulling a gun on the most dangerous man in the city. Douda got Emmett to lower the gun, but Emmett didn't put a distance between himself and Douda first, so Douda was quickly able to take the gun and hit Emmett upside the head. Emmett then said he would pay Douda back everything he gave him, which is basically going to be impossible. Might take another 6 seasons to pay Douda back all that money. We're talking cash, 2 additional smoky locations, a couple cars, a house, and a new wardrobe. I'm guessing Emmett's debt to Douda right now probably got to be into the millions or close, plus interest. Emmett should have just turned the other cheek when they stole Tiff's car and let it alone. But after Douda threatened Emmett, Emmett replied to Douda and basically told him, "People love me, but they only fear you," letting Douda know if something happened to him, people would go after Douda. Getting me to the question, if you cannot be both, is it better to be feared or loved? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. In my personal opinion, it all depends on your walk of life. Emmett and Douda are both playing their roles to the T. Starting with Emmett, as a successful restaurant owner, if he was feared instead of loved, people would most likely be avoiding his restaurant no matter how fire the food was. But since he is loved, people are going to prefer his restaurant, maybe even over another restaurant that may even have better food. On the other hand, Douda, as a gang leader, would have problems if he was loved and not feared. No matter how much he could be loved, in that walk of life, if you are not feared, people will look at you as soft and will find ways to take advantage of you, and it could even end up costing you your life. Another example could be something like a factory supervisor, where the employees are working long hours with few breaks and doing a tedious job. If your employees do not fear you, they will spend the majority of the day standing around socializing and not getting the work done. But then again, on the other hand, take a church pastor for example. If the pastor is feared and not loved, he's not going to have a large congregation, and people will be putting small bills in the collection plate. But if the pastor is loved, his congregation will grow, and the Lord loves a cheerful giver. So those tithes and offerings are gonna be fat. When I first got into the game as a young drug dealer, nobody feared me. And I mean nobody. But a lot of people loved me. But because nobody feared me, I was getting robbed, jacked, set up, something every other month. Every time I would come up a little, I would be right back where I started. As a result, I began becoming more and more savage to the point nobody messed with me. And I mean nobody. But people still did love me, so business was good. So at the end of the day, it's better to be both. But if you can't be both, it all matters on the walk of life you are in. Getting me to the death of Pastor Stanley. I made a video a couple weeks ago, Who Kills Douda? I will put a link in the description if you haven't checked it out yet. It's all the more relevant today because I was already talking about the pastor being killed and Douda getting killed as a result. But I knew from the beginning of the episode, when Papa had his dad on Papa's pulpit, then he gave Papa the family watch and also talked about the value of time. I already knew this was going to be it for Pastor Stanley. Pastor Stanley had already been to jail for money laundering, dealing with Douda in the past, something Papa never let go of and constantly threw in his father's face. But Douda kept coming back to Pastor Stanley over and over again, only for the Reverend to keep turning them down. Then Pastor Stanley preached a sermon about Douda, referring to Douda as the lion in the jungle who is going around devouring households. After this, Douda told Nuck to handle Pastor Stanley. Douda's business also began to suffer as a result of the sermon, getting us to episode 6, where Papa and the crew graduate. At the beginning of the episode, Douda beats down Bakari for losing the car he loaned him. Then at graduation, when Douda tried talking to Bakari, Darnell and Shad stopped him from talking to Bakari. It was at this time Douda smirked at the pastor, like you don't even know what's coming for you tonight. After graduation at their family dinner, Papa and Pastor Stanley got into it about the girl Papa's dating. Pastor Stanley said Papa was just a child himself, so how's he going to be able to take care of somebody else's kid? And said if he sees that girl again, he would be working full-time at the church. This really upset Papa because he takes pride in being the assistant manager at Smokey's. Papa eventually got up from the dinner table and stormed at the house, but not before Pastor Stanley told him that if he walks out that door, he wouldn't be welcomed back. So Pastor Stanley was killed right after Papa just had the biggest argument with his father of his life. So his father's death is going to hit extra hard because they weren't even on good terms. Getting me to the question, will this turn Papa into a savage? I don't know about that personally, because going back to the beginning of the show, Papa has always been scary when it comes to anything to do with violence. And he's just an overall good and caring person. But overall, Papa is not scary in general. He is actually bold. So I'm not sure. We could see a different side of Papa for these final 10 episodes. And Papa may take a dark turn. But just a few episodes ago, Pastor Stanley told Papa that he is a reflection of him. So to act out of his presence the same way he would act in his presence. So with that said, I think Papa will try to do good with his life to make his father proud. And he still has his mother in the picture, so it's not like he will be completely without family. Wrapping this video up with Victor telling Rob that Douda killed his uncle Q. Rob told his mom about this, thinking she would handle it herself, but she wants Rob to handle it himself because she gave him and Tiff $100,000 to start their marijuana growing business. But she knew that Rob's not built for that, so she told him to find some help. Who do you think Rob will turn to for help? Or will someone else get to Douda first? Make sure to click the video Who Kills Douda in the description. And one last thing before I go. Emmett still has that bag of money Nuck brought him. If Douda and Nuck both get killed, Emmett will be able to ride off into the sunset. Or again, he might go down for money laundering like Pastor Stanley. And will Pastor Stanley's death stop Kev from moving to LA. There you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.